Have you heard of a reverse exorcism?
No, I have not. What is that?
It's when the devil tells a priest to get out of the child.
Jesus Christ.
Welcome to Racing Home Podcast. You're joined by Fez Bobber and Nick Ageter, your two very welcoming hosts. How's it going, Nick?
Hey, he's doing pretty well. It is going quite well. I saw you this past weekend.
Yeah, dude, that was pretty cool. It was always exciting to see you. Nice climbing with you.
Oh, yeah. I'm going climbing. Oh, we also watched the movie Enzo. Yeah, real quick on the climbing aspect. I have realized that with climbing, I am so out of shape. Both it's funny because we were just talking in the last podcast about getting back into shape and working out some more. But like when it comes to climbing, there are some very specific movements and like techniques that no amount of like strength will really build for you. And I just realized that like on the top of the wall, I've learned that I am now getting nervous. Because you were bringing this up while we were over there that like as a kid you kind of don't have a sense of fear, or you don't have the same level of fear as when you're an adult. But like now I'm just like, yeah, I have more insurance and I can afford to hurt myself, but I really don't want to.
Yeah, because as you get older, you're more prone to hurt yourself too. Like if a kid falls, it's like, oh, it's a slight, scrape, and then they get back up and they do the same thing over again. If we fall, even though we're not that old yet, but like it hurts, and then you're in pain for like at least a week, you know?
Yeah. So I'm sure like you saw me whenever I'd get up to the top and I'd reach the finishing rock, I wouldn't just jump or drop like I normally would. I would actually like climb halfway back down and then drop.
Yeah, I saw that, and I called you out for that.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't get into any pain. I slept just fine last night. No pain today. So yeah, it all worked out.
Yeah, surprisingly, I wasn't sore either. Usually, like whenever I go climbing, and I don't go climbing because I don't like climbing, I get like very sore. Like my lats are sore, my arms are sore, my forearms are really sore. But like I'm chilling.
That's pretty good. That means we need to go do some more rock climbing, and you need to hit shoulders a little bit harder next time.
No, I mean my shoulders are sore.
Oh, okay. But like as far as joints, they're all good. Good shape.
I mean it's like a good kind of sore. It's not like a painful kind of sore. If you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I was fully expecting. Have you seen recently the memes of like? It's like, oh, people in their 30s right now, or people getting close to their 40s, and it's like you're bending down to do a skill or a task that you normally would, but like it has the squeaking sound attached to it as well.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I make a certain noise every single time I get in and out of the car.
Oh, my knees crack 5 times getting up out of the car. And once I install these bucket seats into the Focus, it's only going to get worse.
Oh, it's a bitch getting in and out of buckets, dude.
Yeah,
I like don't like it, but I mean, it's good on the track.
I sure hope so. I cannot wait to go install it.
So, do you enjoy climbing outside of like I guess motorsports?
Yeah, it's like a nice little hobby. It's not something I would ever go and like pursue more hardcore. Like I don't have a membership. The only time I go climbing is whenever one of our friends in Plano has a guest pass for me to join for free. So, for example, Kenny or Dustin, or those are the only two because they're the only two friends with memberships there.
I think Zach has it too.
He does?
Oh, I think so.
Dang, should have got him to come out there too. Yeah, for climbing, I enjoy going. It's a fun not a hobby, but a fun little thing to go and do here and there. I mean, you saw I have my own rock climbing shoes because I was doing it frequently enough back in what year? 2022. But all of 2023, I did not go climbing. So, do you like climbing? Would you pursue it more?
I thought I wanted to get into it more. So when I was trying to leave powerlifting, one of the biggest reasons why I left powerlifting is because I was like so deep into it that like everything mattered that I did in my daily life. Like if I was sitting for too long, my lifts would get impacted. If I was eating something a different way, my lifts would get impacted. I wasn't allowed to like go climbing. I wasn't allowed to like go hiking because like everything was impacting my workouts, right? And then the competition aspect of it, which like I was even though like maybe my coach wasn't that strictly about it, I just put it in my head that I couldn't do anything. So one of the reasons why I wanted to leave powerlifting was because I wanted to enjoy other sports, right?
Yep.
And like experience other sports. So climbing was much on top of that list. I did it a couple times, and I'm not the best at it, but obviously, like when you start, you're not going to be best at anything, right? Yeah. But the other part for me was the fear of just letting go from the very top, or like slipping and falling and hitting your face on the sharp rocks or something. Like that's my worry of it. So it's like now I'm kind of like that with the same powerlifting mentality, but for motorsports. Like I don't want to hurt myself right before an event.
Yeah, I will
You know what I
say
mean?
like yes, but it's funny you bring up like the fear of hurting yourself in motorsport.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe it's the not placebo, but like the fact that I have a helmet on and I'm strapped in, seatbelt in, and like in this metal cage that I don't feel the fear of getting hurt, but I am fully aware that's because I have yet to actually get hurt in an incident. Hopefully that never happens. Knock on wood. I get through my desk is wood. Anyways, when it comes to rock climbing or snowboarding or skating, yeah, like the fear of falling down and scraping yourself, it just is. It's in the back of my mind a lot more than it used to be.
Yeah, so I don't personally know of anyone that's been hurt in motorsports. Yes, obviously, like freak incidents happen where, I think I forgot the name of the person, but he got in an accident on the racetrack in his Corvette. Right, his brakes failed. He hit a wall. He knocked out in the car, and the car caught on fire. And he was like behind a.
Was it in Grid Life?
No, this is not in Grid Life. But he was like behind like a wall, so like the corner workers couldn't see him either, and like he was just knocked on the car with the car on fire. And I think his brother was like he hasn't gone around, so his brother just tried calling the corner workers, tried getting attention to it. Nobody was answering, so he just went on track in his SUV or something to save him, right?
Dang, okay.
And yeah, I mean like the guy was fairly burnt, but his race suit and everything was saved him significantly. So that's like the only freak incident I know of personally in motorsports. Obviously, there's probably other incidents out there.
Wait, what level of motorsports? So you said it was not in Grid Life, but
it was like GTA or something like that. I don't remember where. I'll have to look this up. It's been a minute since I've read a story on that.
Oh my god, my head immediately went to the video game GTA 6. I was like, what are you talking about? You mean like Super Lap Battle? Like I was like, no. He's talking about the organization that controls Super Lab Battle. Global Time Attack.
Yeah.
Took me a little bit longer than I would like to admit to come to that realization.
Yes.
Yeah. What else did we do this weekend?
But yeah, so going back to that, so like, yeah, but like for climbing, for example, I've heard of a lot of people that have fallen a different way where they like hurt their tailbone or hurt their ankles or hurt their knees and they like can't drive manual anymore. It hurts to drive manual and whatnot. So like I've heard of those incidents happening kind of often. So that's why I'm a little scared of climbing, I guess.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. I can definitely understand that. I will say from doing all the weightlifting with the various bars and dumbbells is that like the callus on my hands. They're pretty tough. Say it again.
Calluses.
Yeah,
there you go. I got you.
Yeah, they're pretty good because I very distinctly remember rock climbing get to the point where like in the very beginning was very soft skin, and so it was very easy to go and build them up to the point where like the skin would rip, and that'd be very painful. But my hands right now, like after rock climbing for what we did it for about an hour and a half yesterday, they're totally fine. I think that's because of all the weightlifting. It's just built up over the past year of lifting weights, getting swole.
There you go. Heck yeah.
Trying.
But yeah, what else did you do this past weekend?
I just want to say real quick, thank you, Dustin, for inviting Pheasant. Actually, it wasn't him invited. We invited him in the back end. We had to use him to get in there. But yeah, anyways, thank you, Dustin, for coming out rock climbing. What else for the weekend? We went and watched Enzo Ferrari, the Ferrari movie.
Yeah.
I want my $16 back.
I did too. That was a pretty whack movie, not gonna lie. I actually forgot that we even watched that movie. That's how forgetful that movie was.
How? No. It went from being a car movie or something along the lines of like really kind of like I first tried giving it a try of following along with the story and being invested with the characters. And for the most part, I was kind of there on the fence of like being invested. But dude, after the very first crash, spoiler, we're gonna spoil stuff in this movie. So if you haven't seen Ferrari,
let's not spoil it.
Skip it forward. No, it's fine. I feel like people who listen to this also listen to Eddie's and Devin's podcast where they already ripped it apart. Also, I want to give people a fair warning of why not to watch it, especially with kids. We'll get there. Yeah, so like what took me out of the movie was the very first crash scene when they were out there testing and they hit the curbing. So like they're going the test driver's going around the corner. He understeers to the outside of the corner, hits the the curbing, but then manages to go up like what 30, 50 feet in the air.
Yeah, he just flies off like a
out of the
ragdoll.
car. Well, ragdoll physics that are borderline worse than what you would see in GTA 3. I kid you not, like an old ass Grand Theft Auto video game 3 had better ragdoll physics than what this car had.
You know, like when you're flying a plane in GTA and you jump out of the plane?
Yes.
That's kind of how it looked like.
But it looked better than what the movie had. It was so bad. It was so bad. The CGI.
The CGI was borderline like Bollywood level.
Yeah, seriously. It was a serious afterthought. And like for as many scenes as there were that included that CGI, I was shocked that Ferrari, this multi-billion-dollar company, or actually Piero Ferrari, the son, was partially kind of part of the movie. Currently the co-owner of Ferrari, I guess. Anyways, he's a multi-billionaire.
10.2% of Ferrari right now.
Yeah, exactly. So like, how the heck did he go through this movie and not like drop another million to go and say, make the CGI and at least these two critical scenes better? It was that curb stomp or hitting the curb and then hitting the random like road titty thingy in the road and out
road titties.
Well, like the little marker things, the lane separators.
You mean road markers?
Yeah, but okay, it wasn't a titty. But at the same time, like the road marker, like somehow managed to cut the tire, make the car go into spin. Also managed to flip so high to hit the top of a telephone pole or electricity pole, and then come back down and take out numerous spectators. Oh man, it was cringy. And on top of that, okay, so the movie is rated R. Anyone who's listening, probably just Ravi. Time marker. But in any case, Ravi, please do not take your kid to anything rated R until they're at least, I don't know, 16, whenever like you're of age to go and watch rated R. There were kids down in 2-3 rows ahead of us.
The funniest part. Okay, so the funniest part.
Yeah,
I'm sitting with Raza, our other friend over there, right? And we're hearing a kid talk throughout the whole movie, like loudly. He was the only kid in the entire theater.
Yep.
And we're like, okay, I mean, it's funny. His kid was being funny, so we didn't really care. And then, like, well, in one of the scenes, like, the driver walks out with his raw cheeks out, right? Like a raw dog in the scene. And me and Raza just like look at each other and we're like, is this R-rated? Is there a kid here? And I'm just like, what are the parents doing with this kid right now? With this like dude?
Oh, we could all we could all assume. Go on.
And then they just start like fucking. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but like they just start smashing in the movie, and then the kids just like watching them do it. Like this is just I don't take your kids to a movie without checking the ratings.
Agreed. And like I actually went back and looked on IMDb the next morning because I was telling my mom about all this, and sure enough, like not only does it have the rating of the movie, but it also has like a separate parental guide where it will go through scene by scene of why like the category is sex and nudity, and then it goes in that category. It goes and says like, hey, there are these 5 scenes where this is occurring. Like as a parent, how do you not have the forethought to like, oh, this movie is rated R? Maybe it's just for like blood. My kids can handle blood, but let me verify if there's any kind of sex and nudity. And we could hear during that scene that clearly the parent was trying to cover up the kid's eyes because you just heard the kid down the bottom start like screaming and like whining. So like he wasn't whining because he was like watching what's going on, but like it was clearly like the sound of a kid who was like trying to move his head or move his parent's hand out of his eyes so you could see these two adults wrestling in bed.
Yeah,
like,
totally wrestling.
Just wrestling. But
so like my biggest problem with that movie was that I just didn't get the plot. Like, what's the idea? What are they trying to tell us? Right? Like, Ferrari
yes, go on.
Definitely had a bad history of financials, and I think that's kind of what they were trying to tell us. But like, who cares? It's Ferrari. I want the plot to be, or the plot of the story to be deeper than that. Like, why are there financial issues? I guess like what Ferrari had to go through. Like, how did Ferrari get to the point of being Ferrari? I think that's what I thought it would be. Of like, how Ferrari started is what I was thinking it would be, and how it became a success story. That's what I thought it would be, and then it was just about financials and how they sucked and how he had an affair with another girl, and that was it.
So that last piece, the affair with the other girl,
Uh-huh.
Looking back or thinking about the movie, I think the movie tried to be more about the kid, Pietro. Like there were so many instances where he said that he loved the mistress more than his actual wife, and he wished he was with the actual mistress instead of the wife. He
Yeah,
wanted
but that's
to,
not
like,
movie worthy.
it is not, but I think that's what the movie was trying to convey is like legitimize Pietro Ferrari's stake in the company. I don't know. Maybe it's always been up to question of like he was a what do you call it in Game of Thrones? A bastion or like an illegitimate son. Maybe he was him trying to justify that his father wanted him to be in this position. That's my only like maybe like why they would go through all this effort of like this kind of a plot where there was, like you said, you're absolutely right. There was no zero to hero type of situation in the movie where like the entire movie was about them being in financial trouble, and at the end they were still in financial trouble. If anything, they were in more financial trouble at the end of the movie than the beginning.
So and like, they didn't even talk about the deal that he made with was it Fiat?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they didn't even talk about that. They talked about like rumors of how they're gonna sell to Fiat or Ford or whatever, but the deal never was shown in the movie and how it came to be.
Yeah, I at the end of the movie, there was nothing that made me envy or admire Enzo any more than I did. I granted, I'm not someone who can afford a Ferrari in the first place, but if they're trying to
now with
put out a movie and like show it to people our financial situation, didn't do anything for me to admire Ferrari or the family any more than it previously did. The only thing it taught me was that like, oh, Pietro Ferrari has 10% now. I had no idea that he was or how he was in this current position or like how he became a son. But yeah, the only takeaway for that is that if true that Enzo really wanted him to be like the son and the carry the torch of the Ferrari name, well, message received, but I could have got that in a 10-minute YouTube.
Yeah, so actually a lot of the quotes that they said in the movie, I learned those from Jason Camisa and Haggerty. In one of his videos, he goes and like gives us, I think it's like one of the icons video that he made. He talks about it, and he talks about how Ferrari was saying like the ox must pull the cart, or
oh yeah, I remember that line in the movie.
What was the other quotes? I can't remember. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I've heard them from Jason Camisa, and I kind of already knew about that.
It was the
Haggerty.
To me, it was the ox pulls the cart and win on Sunday and sell on Monday.
Win on Sunday, sell on Monday. That's right. There you go.
Yeah, those are the two main quotes from the movie coming out of Enzo. I'm like, oh, I've heard this before, and you're right. I heard them from Jason. In his videos.
I highly recommend watching. Like, I think that I don't really watch YouTube anymore, but the only show on YouTube I watch is Jason Camisa's. Anything with Jason Camisa. Jason Camisa on Haggerty's Icons or head-to-head thing that he works on. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he is phenomenal, and his own podcast also is really good. If you haven't heard his podcast, not that I should stop selling other podcasts on our podcast. I apologize.
Who cares?
But yeah, that was basically the weekend. I had to drive up to pick up my mother from the airport and do some chores around the house, fix some toilets. Nice. That's about it for me for the weekend. And then I drove the Focus back home. So the Focus is finally back here in Austin. I had Carol's wedding dress in the back of it the whole way down. Turns out I accidentally brought my mother's wedding dress as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does it fit Carol?
It's a little too long. My mom's a little bit taller than Carol. So, no. Potentially. Moving on.
Anyways. So, what's the topic for today, dude?
I think the topic today is you. You and Mariza Motorsports and sponsorships? Do you want to focus more on sponsorships or do you want to focus more on Mariza Motorsports?
We can talk a little bit about both. Okay. So I kind of want to touch on sponsorship and how you can approach companies. A kind of like an educational podcast of if you're new into motorsports, like how should you be reaching out to companies and how should you be getting sponsorships or partnerships with other companies to build your brand and help them build their brand. So before I do that, Nick, I'll ask you a question. If you wanted a sponsor from a company, how do you approach them? And then maybe I can go from there. Maybe I can support from there.
Okay. So
I just want to say before we start, I am not an expert, and this may not apply all the time. So
yeah, and I also want to add to the fact that like for as many stickers as I have going down my shopping list on the front and passenger side doors of my vehicle, none of them are actual sponsorships. They're all stickers that I used to cut my Cricket. So like I don't actually have a sponsorship. Now, if I were to go and try to acquire one, let's say I had recently bought a GR Corolla and I want to go and get some discounted parts for this GR Corolla from, I don't know, a company called Mariza Motorsports. Since it seems to be along the same line. They seem to support the Toyota brand. In any case, I would go and first prove myself. Like I have to go and bring something to the table for the sponsor for them to then give me their time or their money or their parts. It's a give and take. It's a relationship going back and forth. So really, I need to go and prove myself with the GR Corolla. Maybe even not. Maybe I just started, and before I even had my first track day, I'm already trying to acquire a sponsorship. Then prior to that, I have to prove to them with my different track events that I've gone and done well in, or my media exposure, something that for the time they give me, it is going to be an investment for them in return. Whether that be in exposure or, well, yeah, I guess it's exposure. How do I answer that?
Yeah, exposure.
So
visibility.
I think if I were to actually do that in the first place, I'd put together a one-pager, basically a driver resume about myself.
Yeah, a driver resume is actually really important. I think. So if what helped me was that, well, first off, I think it's important to be unique. Everything you said is correct, by the way. Like I think you need to be able to sell yourself and what you can do for them instead of asking them what they can do for you. Like obviously there's levels to it, right? Like what if you're like if you have a $500,000 subscribers or million views per video or whatever, then you can kind of talk to those companies, be like, yeah, this is what I can provide for you, like this, what can you give me, type of the conversations, right? But if you're like us and average Joe Blow going to a company, like the conversation should be like, what can I provide you, not what you can provide me. That's how the conversation should start, right? And that's where a lot of people, the newer people that do ask for sponsorships that haven't had any track experience. I've had some people ask me for a sponsor from Mariza Motorsports, and I'm like, dude, like I don't. First of all, I'm a new company. Like I don't know if I can do that for you. I can maybe give you discounted parts, but that's pretty much it. But like, what can you do for me, right? And the answer is usually they have like 100 followers, or they're just like 16 or 18-year-old kids with a new car. Doesn't work that way. So first, I think you need to be unique and be different than most people doing the same thing. You need to stand out a little bit. So for me, it worked out very, very well. That instead of going case swapping my FRS like every other person in the class, it's like there's so many case swapped 86s currently coming into the class and are already existing in the class. It's not unique anymore, right? The GR86, at least in the top 10, top 15, it's still pretty unique. Like I'm the only one that's doing it. So when I bought the car, and I pitched to some sponsors or companies that like, hey, like this is what my plan is. This is what my experience is. I want to partner up with companies to make this build a reality and go fast. You know, at first it didn't work. Like a lot of companies were like, you're just another guy, right? You just ordered GR86. And then it started off with actually Apex. Apex Wheels is a pretty good partner of mine, and the way it started was I was just posting my 8.6 that when I first got it, and I was testing the existing Apex Arc 8s that I had on my FRS, and I was testing those out on the GR86 to see how it fits, because the GR86 had some fitment issues with the wheels, like the previous generation of wheels would not fit on the second gen, because of the rear quarter panel or rear knuckle design. It's just makes a tight fit, right? So I was just testing out some wheels and seeing what fits, what works, what cambers and whatnot. And I was tagging them. I was tagging Apex the entire time, like, hey, I have Apex wheels, cool, right? They started messaging me. Right? They started asking me questions about like the fitment and how it works, and because they were probably coming out with, I think they were trying to come out with a wheel for the chassis specifically. I don't think they had access to the car yet at that time, so they were asking me questions about like, what's the Arc 42, like how does it fit? Would you recommend? Blah blah blah. And I was sending them detailed photos, detail like what like math behind like what offset should be good for this car and whatnot. And I think I recommended 45 to 50, somewhere in the middle, offset for a 9-inch wheel, and they came out with a 17x9 plus 48 for the wheel for the car, right? And when we were having this conversation, when I was having this conversation with them on Instagram, I kind of proposed the idea. I was like, "Hey, this is what I'm planning on doing with the car. Are you guys interested in partnering up and maybe doing some more development of the car?" And that's where the partnership kind of came to be.
That is awesome. Okay, right? I never knew the actual backstory behind that, so that is awesome to hear.
That's just one example of a partner. Yeah. Those partnering companies that I have right now, they have reached out to me, and I've kind of worked out with them, like, how can I help you in developing these parts for the car? How can I give you my knowledge on sharing this, like what works and what doesn't work?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Have you received any parts? And we can cut this out of the podcast if it's a question you don't want to answer. But have you received any parts where you added onto your car and realized that, no, I don't like this part, and then like drop communication with the vendor?
No, I don't usually reach out to spot vendors or companies I don't trust their parts with. Like, if I don't want to put their parts on my car, I'm not going to reach out to them or entertain them.
Yeah. Okay. But have you received anything that you thought you would like and then later realized, ooh, I don't like this?
Not really, no.
Oh, it's cool.
No, everything that I have right now in my car, I like, and if it's on my car, I'm promoting it because it works.
Yeah, no, 100%. That makes sense. Except for the Toyota diffuser, the rear diffuser, because you cut that out. I'm just kidding. I'm just making it somehow trying to make a joke about how we both don't have rear diffusers on our vehicles anymore.
Just the bumper cut, dude.
Yeah, dude. Mine flaps around so much in the wind. I realize it moves around so much.
I cut mine on the sides too, so it doesn't flap around.
I thought about doing that, but I think mine would look really ugly if I did that.
I think mine does look ugly.
I think mine looks better.
I agree.
But I think the exhaust helps. The Cobb exhaust.
Yeah.
Small plug.
So that's kind of how Apex started for me. Going to
how many sponsors do you have?
I have Apex. I have Boosted Performance Tuning. They tuned my car for me. And then I have Counter Space Garage. I get my pads from them. And I'll sell their pads for them. And then I have I had Race Comp Engineering last year. I'm moving on to a different suspension partner for next year. Not because Race Comp Engineering doesn't make good products. It's just that I need a better one.
Yep.
And who else? Apex. I already said that. BSP Motorsports. They're a shop here in Dallas. They do my alignments for me. It's like a very small partial sponsorship. It's not really a big one. And then RaceBred Components. I love dealing with RaceBred Components. It's the nicest company I've ever worked with.
That is awesome.
I feel like I'm missing some. I always do this.
Damn, you got too many sponsors. You know, I bet Max Verstappen can't name off all the different sponsors on the Red Bull car, so don't feel bad.
But I'm not Max Verstappen.
Well, in Club TR at Laguna, you were.
How?
You got first.
Yeah. Yeah, so I am forgetting Zebulon. Zebulon isn't a sponsor necessarily, but I was their the first car to have their product on my and I did help them develop the stands for it, like the idea of how far wide it should be and if it should go swan neck. So he did develop that for me and with my idea.
It came
Um,
out really well.
it came out
Really, really well.
awesome. The design is phenomenal. The stands are phenomenal. And yeah, I got a pretty steep discount to get for that wing because I was the first one to do it.
Good, because those wings are not cheap.
They're not cheap, no. Yeah. So yeah, like a lot of that would just a lot of my partnerships came from having a new car and having them helping those companies out develop those parts. Um, and the funny thing was maybe I'm going to put someone on blast, one of the companies on blast here a little bit, but
We
Race
can
Comp
cut it out.
Engineering, right?
Uh-oh.
So I remember asking them for a sponsorship or a partnership back in the day when I had my FRS because I had just blown my shocks 2 bits. Like literally, it was just stuck in the compressed state, and the oil was just spewing out of the coilover after my first ever time attack event with Grid Life at Autobahn. And I had another event 2 weeks from there at Gingerman, and I had to get these coilovers rebuilt ASAP.
Yeah.
And I reached out to them. I was like, "Hey, would you guys be open to working together? Maybe you can get these rebuilt or whatnot." And they were like, "No, like we don't sponsor anyone. Sorry, right?" And I like rightfully so. I don't judge them for it because I was a nobody. I am a nobody still, but like back then I was even more of a nobody.
No,
Right?
you were just a little Paquita banana. That was it.
That was the inception of the Chiquita banana.
You should have been a green GR. You were so small back then. All right, go on.
I like eventually I'm gonna be overripe banana. I'm gonna be black
No, you just be your skin color
and
brown.
bruised.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you, a little more rock climbing, and you might get bruised if you fall hard enough.
There you go.
All right. So what do you do with your coilover situation?
So I got contact for KW. There's a PE Motorsports team. They used to work with KW, and or they think they still do. So I got a contact information from KW from them, and KW like rebuilt my coilovers within a day and sent it back for free.
In a day?
In a day.
What? Holy! I did not know that story.
I shipped that to them, and it took 2 days to get there. They rebuilt it within a day and shipped it out the same day, and I had it. They overnighted it to me. All I had to pay for was the overnight shipping.
Damn, that is so good.
Yeah, like connections. It really does help too, honestly.
Wait, so okay, so this was KW. So KW shocks is what you had to replace. You had to replace
Race Comp Engineering is a they don't make their own coilovers. They take KW coilovers. They work with KW very closely, and they valve them and differently for the Subaru and 86 chassis
for their unique products and how they want. Okay.
Yeah, so KW basically barely does 86 and Subaru stuff now. They kind of outsource it to Race Comp Engineering at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is all good background information for me to have because, as I said, like I'm going to be driving the Focus out to the events, and I'm going to leave it at the premium parking space that is your place. Between events, flying back and forth. Your sister's place, yes. The castle.
Yeah.
But something that weighs in the back of my mind is if something goes wrong, how am I going to fix it quickly? So right now, I guess it depends. If something does go wrong, my game plan is to order a new part or basically order the new part and fly in a day earlier than I would have to install that part, whatever goes wrong. If it's something as simple as a shock replacement, I can easily do that the day before.
Yeah, and then 6 Star Motorsports is over there to do alignments too, so it works out.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, I don't mind doing I've done all my own alignments. I don't know if I told you that.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, but it would be ideal to go and have an actual company do it with an actual machine instead of just road testing.
Yeah.
With plates. Well, cool. Thanks. Okay, so that's Apex Wheels. That is race.
And then so on the Race Comp story. So continuing with that, so a couple of years go by, and I had the GR86 now, and then they wanted to share my posts, and they wanted to because they knew I was still driving on those Race Comp Engineering coilovers on my 86, and they eventually basically asked me what does it take to work with you, right? What does it take to put a big banner on your car? And that's kind of where the partnership started with them. I'm not going to say the details of what that partnership was, but they're great people, and they have helped me out so much from the car setup and the dynamics of the car, of what the rebound compression should be, teaching me about different ways of the car. If the car is handling a certain way, like what should I be changing, the rack height, not rack height, the rake of the car, that I was having issues with it initially as well. So they've helped out significantly in the past year to help me set up these coilovers the correct way.
That is so cool. That's great that you have great people that are helping you out, giving you product feedback and setup feedback.
Yeah,
and clearly it's paying off.
For sure, dude. Everything that I've been able to accomplish is because of these great sponsors that I have that are very communicative and have been helping out since day one. And then Race Spread Components too. That's huge sponsor.
How do you get it? How did you get them on board? Sounds like Race Spread Components are some of the. I see them getting posts quite a bit from your Instagram. So, how did that relationship start?
So Race Spread is also a small business, and they want to see other small businesses succeed. So that's where Mariza Motorsports came to play, right? And like I sell their splitters for them, as well. I'm a dealer for them as well. So it's because they have been so supportive of me in every step of the way. I've been posting them a lot as well. And in support, I'll give you one example. I had just gotten my splitter blade, right? It was deeply discounted, but still have to pay for it a little bit for it. And I was at Heartland. I don't know if you remember, my splitter fell off and it got destroyed. Right?
Yeah, I do recall that.
That was my first time ever running that splitter, and it was not cheap. And they found out about it. They messaged me. They're like, "Don't worry about it. We'll send you another one for free right now. We want you running our splitter at Laguna."
Holy crap! That is so cool.
Like, no questions asked. And I was like, "That's
amazing.
Just amazing."
Mm-hmm.
From just casual conversations, from sending like a small gift for Christmas, from sharing Mariza Motorsports or supporting Mariza Motorsports as well. They have been phenomenal.
That is great to hear.
Yeah,
that's so cool. You got any other sponsors you want to shout out and dive into how the relationship started?
And then how Race Spread started. So I was running my splitter, homemade splitter, and with Professional Awesome mounts, right? And I was also going back and forth with them, sharing pictures of how I had my splitter mounted, and that's kind of how it started. It was just, I shared some feedback, shared what I was running, how I built my setup, and then they used that to design their own stuff too. I mean, I think they already had the design ready to go. They just wanted some confirmation of like how I was running it too.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Huh.
All right.
Okay. Got anybody else you want to shout out?
Who else? I'm giving them all shout outs on my Instagram this week. So if I do forget someone,
they're all good. Yeah. Honestly, your Instagram is reaching far further than what this podcast
probably
going to reach. So don't worry.
Probably.
The
gist of it is, sorry to cut you off again, is just be ready to give your experience or show who you are. To be able to sell yourself to the company is really important. Who you are as a person is very important. I'm trying to get more sponsors on board, like SBL, Inertia Labs, and all those guys, to get a better suspension setup going for the car. And I think it's really, really important to, like, first of all, if they say no, it's okay. Like, they're still a good company, right? They might just have other bigger fish to play with, if that's a term. But just ask them for it. Show them who you are. Set up a phone call and see if they're willing to work with you. What can you sell them? For me, what's been really beneficial is Grid Life. Honestly, like Grid Life. If I wasn't competing in Grid Life, I would not have any of these sponsors.
Yeah,
quite honest with you. Like,
Grid Life, doing this locally, doing autocross events in somewhere between Dallas and Austin. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those events and those events simply do not get the kind of exposure that Grid Life gets. Just being
100%.
Maybe NASA, maybe SCCA at the national. Actually, SCCA at the national level, NASA at the national level. Yes, but if you're just doing it at the local, then realistically, the only sponsor you're really going to be able to acquire are going to be local sponsors.
That's if that.
at best.
Yeah.
So I agree. I would add the other part that kind of really helps out with gaining sponsorships is
Mhm.
being genuine. And being
Mhm.
genuine, and what I mean by that is being genuine with the relationship.
Yeah.
Um, I'll give a small shout out to like Brian Tyson at JST. Like he is a huge part as to why I'm going for this full 85 setup on the Focus for this upcoming season. And I always wanted to go full 85, and I 100% would have gone full 85 at full price, and I was fully expecting to. But when I had reached out to him and asked him, "Hey, like, what parts do you recommend? What fuel pump? What injectors? Anything else I should go and do to the car in order to like be ready for full 85?" He not only gave me the part numbers and suggestions of like the intercooler and wastegate actuator, but
Mhm.
on top of that, well, he also he's going to tune the car for free, which
Nice.
I honestly did not ask for, and but hopefully he did that out of the kindness of his heart because of I think we're at the point where we're friends, and so like
Mhm.
every time we're at an event together, we're going talking, hanging out, but it's
Yeah.
because of a genuine relationship, and I try to like make sure that whenever there's something on the car that is a result of work that he has done, I go and shout out to
Mhm.
him. And then anytime someone is asking any kind of tuning question or tuning recommendation
Mhm.
or site to go and purchase a part from, I'm always tagging Brian
Mhm.
in those comments and like telling people, hey, go to him because he has been nothing but incredible. And his
Yeah.
expertise definitely does show it. And on top of that, where else was I going with this? I'll end it there. He is incredibly great, and I think that's because of a genuine care for me. I actually do care about him doing better. I
Mhm.
want to see him succeed because I haven't found any other tuners that have done as great of work as he has. So I want to see him succeed,
Mhm.
and hopefully he is reciprocating that. Maybe that's why he's doing so. I haven't actually asked him,
Yeah. I
but
mean, you were his customer first,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So he,
100%.
you
And I was
showed him
fully
that like you're not messing around. First of all, like you're actually interested in his products,
yep.
and then you kept giving him shout outs, and the relationship kind of built from there. And then now you guys are working together, kind of.
Yeah, it was very natural for me. That was a very natural example,
Yeah.
natural progression. Yeah, I was paying full price up until
Mhm.
this year.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah,
that's
shout
how it
out,
goes.
absolutely. So you got any new parts coming this season? You've been
Um,
dropping tidbits here and there for the past couple of podcasts. New
so I'll
suspension.
unofficially announce on the podcast. I got
Oh wait,
some.
oh wait. When do you want to officially do this?
I was gonna announce after I had shared all my Instagram posts to giving shout outs to my old sponsors.
Oh,
Yeah.
you want me to hold off on posting this podcast until you do that?
Nah, it's all good. It's gonna be
Okay.
probably like next week. So if someone's listening to the podcast, they get it first view of it. Yeah. So I partnered up with Inertia Labs here in Dallas. And it's Chris Hagen. He was in FSAE as well at UT Arlington. That's kind of how I like started to. I found out about him, and then he worked at AST Motons, where he used to build or design suspension for them.
Hmm.
And then he started his own company called Inertia Labs, where he rebuilds coilovers and so does setup and does revalves. And he has been promoting nitrons for the 8.6 chassis. One of our other friends, Nick Allen, he is in Washington running Nitron R1s on his car as well, on his 8.6.
Hmm.
And both him and other buddy Carl, they both rave about the coilovers. So I was always like interested in them. And then, yeah, so I just wanted to give him a try. I'd reached out to Chris. I was like, hey, like I'm interested. I need someone local as well to help me set up the suspension
Yep.
the right way. And he recommended between R1 and R3. If we were to go R3, then that would be three ways, but he would lock the high speed compression. But that
Wait,
is just like
why?
too expensive.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh, so Club TR only allows two ways.
Right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's why. But I talked to him, and then he convinced me on the R1s, which is one-way coilovers. So it's just rebound adjustment. It's the way he kind of sold it to me on those was it's just set it and forget it setting, and just go have fun, and not have fun, but like you don't have to worry about moving around suspension stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of what I'm gonna install. So I got the wrong spring rates for the rear. I'm waiting on new spring rates to come in before I can install that on the car.
When did you realize it was the wrong spring rate?
It wasn't the necessarily the wrong spring rate. It was just I think miscommunication on both of our ends of like what we were looking for.
Oh.
And then Nitron as well, since it was like during the holidays.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like I got the spring rates I didn't want. It's too close. I think it's right now I have 10K front and I have 10.5K rear, which is barely a difference. And I want the rear to be much stiffer.
Okay.
Or the front to be a little bit softer. So I want like a 2K to 1.5K gap between the two.
Okay. And
so I'm getting,
like, is that you want that kind of difference because it like makes the car the most playful for you in the way you drive, or
it really helps the rotation of the car.
Okay.
Yeah, with the wing too, where the wing is massive, so it's gonna push down a little bit.
What kind of spring rates should people go for if they did not have a wing?
I would just go with the square setup, like a 10K, depending on coilovers, obviously.
Right.
It varies. But if you're intro to HBDE or something like that, I would go with the 7K to 8K square setup.
Okay.
Yeah, most coilovers are actually not. Their max limit on valving is like 10 or 11K. Most of the off-the-shelf coilovers.
Really?
At least for the 8.6, I think. So like the race comp engineering T2s that I was running, I was at the max limit for those.
Oh.
Yeah.
That is super interesting.
Yeah.
I will honestly say, like, I've said it here before, my coilovers on the Focus are not the ideal coilovers. They're sufficient. They ride better than stock.
Mm-hmm.
And they get the job done. But I definitely will be looking to the coilovers maybe next year or the year after. So I just need to do my homework and see if DSC is really the way I want to go, or if there's another company that would be more sufficient. But yeah, I can definitely tell the difference that a good set of coilovers can do. As by the way that people leave me in the dust sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
riding around.
A good coilovers will do a pretty big number on your car. Because right now you have Petters, which are like $1,100, $1,200 intro coilovers. They're good. Honestly, they're really good for what they are. But they're really good for the cost. But yeah, I do recommend going for a better coilover.
Oh, I completely agree.
Hey, maybe we can set you up with some Nitrons.
I would not be opposed to looking into them.
Yeah.
How much would they set me back?
I'm also a dealer now for Inertia Labs.
Ooh. So how would that okay, we'll have to take this offline because I definitely want to be on the radar for whenever the time does come.
Mm-hmm.
Like yeah. I'll be on the radar. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay. So another, I guess, thing that helped me get my sponsorships or partners or whatever you want to call them is I started my own company for Marisa Motorsports, right? Like I do consultation for setting up 8.6s, and I also sell parts. I don't charge anything for consultation right now. It's just, message me. I'll help you out, set up however you want your car to be, give you advice on what you should be doing, and then you just buy parts for me. That's kind of how it works. And it helps because then now I can like reach out to these companies that are partnering that want to partner up with me. It's like, hey, another benefit of partnering up with me is that I can market your products and sell them for you as well.
Yeah, that is really nice.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Well, awesome. Yeah. So where do you go from here? So like you gain these current sponsorships that you currently have, and you have your own company. What's the next? What would you like to see yourself? What kind of relationships do you want with sponsorships? Come by the end of this year.
Like, what do I want to accomplish with them?
Yeah, or I guess you kind of already dived into that you want the sponsorships to support your car, but also have your site, Marisa Motorsports, will be an opportunity, a location, a landing page for those parts as well. So that way, and that's a great way that you can sell yourself or gain sponsorship is by not only are you able to show off the parts on your car, but then you can also have another location for those companies to sell their parts.
Yeah. So I have on my website. I'm building a page where I'm recommending all the products that are showcasing all the products that I run on my car. A lot of times I get questions like, "Do you have a build journal? Like, what have you done to your car? Do you have an Excel sheet with all your parts on it?" And I don't like sharing that because I wanted to build that page where I have all the parts listed of what I have on my car, and then if it doesn't fit your budget, I have alternates in there as well. So people can okay, like let's say if someone doesn't want to buy nitrons, right? If they can't afford $4,000 or $5,000 coilovers, okay, well, what's your budget? If it's below 3,000, here's what I recommend. If it's below 2,000, here's what I recommend, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm running on my car, and you can buy it here.
Pretty sweet.
So this showcases the products of my partnering company.
Yep.
And then it also helps me sell them too.
Okay. Pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to touch on?
As far as like what does the future hold,
yeah,
I would really like the top 3 in the season. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. And then as far as more partnerships or sponsors, I'm honestly anything to make me fast or anything exciting or new technology coming out for the car. Like for example, right now, Zestec Racing is another company that I've partnered up with for 2024. They have, so you know how like your car has buttons, your steering wheel has or your steering wheel has buttons.
My car, yes. My wife's car, no. For anyone who did not get that joke, my wife drives a Model 3.
Does she not have buttons on the steering wheel?
She has roll wheels on the steering wheel.
Oh. But anyways,
they do click in, yes, but like, yeah, okay, go on.
Yeah, so so there's different buttons on the hub. It's a quick release system where you can program the buttons with the can to do whatever you want it to do. Whether it's you can use it as a communication tool for your people that are your in the pits with your team. Like I'm pitting in or whatever, or like radio communication, or changing the tune, or changing or if you just want to use an OEM hub. It's it'll have the back button, it'll have the call button, it'll have the cruise control or whatever. That you lose all of that when you go to an aftermarket steering wheel.
Yep, I got you.
So now you get that in aftermarket steering wheel too.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, there's I've seen something similar for the Focus. Well, wait. So these are actually these are not the OEM buttons on the steering wheel. These are steering wheel buttons that are
they're RGB.
Mapped. Oh,
it's colorful. Let me send you a picture.
It's just like our microphones.
Yeah, everything's going RGB for me right now. I don't know why. Google Zestec Racing steering wheel. If you can hear me typing, I'm sorry.
It's not that loud. I'll show you.
Okay. Yeah, ASM is running this on their cars as well now.
Ooh, okay. Let me go to the chat. You want to take this as an opportunity to let people know if they are interested in joining this live recording of the podcast, so they can actually see stuff as we're looking. It's actually on Discord, so I'm just gonna paste it into the podcast show notes. So if anybody ends up wanting to join while we're recording, so we can see links at the same time, feel free to join.
Yeah.
Wait, what the heck is this? That's a steering wheel?
No, that's the hub, and you mount the steering wheel to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So this is pretty cool.
Example.
Oh, dude, that's so cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. I mean, it won't make me fast, but it's a cool technology
we tried to describe. I mean, you already did describe it, but it basically is like a base where it has the buttons, and the buttons are LED, RGB, and then whatever steering wheel you have. Oh wait, hold on. What kind of steering wheel can attach? Can any aftermarket steering wheel attach to this thing? I literally have no idea how aftermarket steering wheels work. you get what I'm trying to say?
Sounds universal. You cut out there for a second, but aftermarket steering wheels are all universal. So it's just a hub. You know how like you buy an NRG hub?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like an NRG hub with all these buttons.
Okay. Well, cool. So
yeah,
I didn't know you could just like get that kind of a backing thing and attach your steering wheel.
Yeah, it's a very, very new company. There's only 2 out there right now, and they're mainly focused on higher end cars, like M3s, M4s that would probably need it more than the 86 would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a really cool product. It's not cheap. That's the only downside of it. It's about $1,400.
Oh, geez. Well, hey, that's cheaper than the $30,000 F1 racing wheel that all these F1 drivers are using. But
really $30,000 for an F1 steering wheel?
That might be on the low end. F1. Now, apologies on my end if you can hear me typing. F1 steering wheel. Add in price at the end. That'll help out the Google search. Google AI is also looking up. What? No, wait. $400? That doesn't make sense.
You're looking at it from like Fanatec, like the sim racing wheels?
No, I meant like the actual wheel that like
podcast
happen.
While we Google search this, we're pausing this.
No, wait. Okay, yeah. If you want to be a Fanatec steering wheel for your sim rig, then yeah, it'll be like $500. Okay, yeah, here. Speedway Media reports that one Formula One steering wheel costs between $40,000 and $100,000.
Ah, shit.
For the wheel. Have you heard of Driver 61 on YouTube?
Heard of who?
Driver 61.
No, I haven't.
YouTube. Oh man, he puts out some really good content covering F1 and F1 cars and anything and everything Formula One. He covers it, and he's also doing a build series right now, just like any other YouTuber out there. No, but his build series, he is building a tunnel where he can actually drive a Formula One car upside down.
He wants to drive a Formula One car upside down?
Yeah, because like remember how there's that saying that Formula One cars make so much drag. They have to do so much downforce that they could drive upside down. Well,
at a certain speed.
Well, yeah. And so what he is doing is he's working with several different companies, and he is building a platform where he will be able to drive the car, and he'll be going on the normal ground, come to this contraption, and then like a tunnel, go up along the side and up to the top. And so I assume that in order to get to the top, he's got to go like pretty quick to get up there. But it's half a tunnel, and he needs to go, I think, 500 meters upside down is the goal, or 5 seconds. Maybe it's 5 seconds. I think 5 seconds is the goal. Just to be able to go drive upside down for 5 seconds and come back over. But it's requiring all this unique engineering between the actual platform, because whatever, like the bracing, between the bracing, it could cause like the joist could cause the car to get upset and upset the aero balance, and then he would fall into his face or his head. Yeah, I'll send you the link. It is such a unique build series. I have not seen him do it yet, but he's trying.
This reminded me of a Top Gear episode where Jeremy Clarkson went upside down in a tunnel in a Renault Twingo.
He did? Oh, I need to watch that. I have not seen that one.
He did a flip. He didn't actually drive upside down. He just went around it and like flipped the car.
No, this guy, he's actually trying to drive upside down for 5 seconds in a Formula One car, an older Formula One car.
Nice.
And it's requiring some unique engineering, because also like the engine needs to run differently, because the engines the oil is designed to be on the bottom, not on the top.
Yeah, so the pickup tube needs to be at the top.
Yes. Well, no, it needs to be able to do both. It needs to start driving like on normal ground, but then the engine needs to be
to just siphon the oil from the
right
top back to the bottom.
It needs to do both. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Oh man! All right. Any more topics for today, Fez?
I have some time. You want to get into some questions? We have some remaining questions from last time.
You got one fired up that you want to bring on board?
No, No, I don't have anything open right now.
Bro. Oh, Mauricio Garzo. He asked if you could get a brand sponsor for your podcast, who would you want and why?
That's
Ooh,
funny.
okay. This is a very fitting question for the topic for today. But
Yeah.
more specific to like the podcast itself, not to the
Mhm.
cars.
Who would you want? I don't have anyone on top of my mind right now. Oh shit!
I don't
Sorry.
really. You're fine. I've not thought about it. I would like. I mean, I would like to get paid for this time that we're doing the podcast.
Mhm.
So I don't know what it would take to get like Spotify themselves on board to be a sponsor.
A lot.
Essentially, it would be like an ad where you go and like advertise the fact that there's the platform Spotify for podcasters. Oop, and I just blew it by hitting the microphone.
I did the same thing. It's okay.
I took a note of that to try cutting it out.
Yeah.
I may or may not actually do it. But that would be one. I would try to get. I would like to have Spotify on here since it's applicable since a podcast company celebrating a podcast. Oh my god, Discord is firing off. I need to mute them. Getting really annoying on my end.
What's going
I keep
on?
I keep hearing the Discord ding.
Oh, gotcha.
Grid Life Street Class is going bonkers again.
I have that muted. I have all of it muted.
Can I mute? Yes.
So getting a sponsorship with Spotify is actually, I think, very difficult because Dax Shepard, if you don't know him, he is an actor and married to Kristen Bell, who was the voice of no, not Let It Go, one of the Frozen actors. But yeah, so really famous people. He has his own podcast called Armchair Expert, and I think he just now recently got sponsored by Spotify.
Dang.
And he's had like the CEO of Ford on there. He's had everyone, all the A-list celebrities on there and everything. So,
well, okay, that's pretty wild because Slip Angle, Abe, he is at the beginning of most of their Slip Angle podcast episodes. He is advertising Spotify for podcasters. And Slip Angle isn't that big. I mean, they're big in our world, but they're not big in the world of Spotify.
oh, I didn't know that.
Abe and Adam, like on their Slip Angle podcast, they have 3 different ads before they even start the actual podcast.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're doing really, really well. Who else would be interesting to have on here?
I would like to collaborate with other podcasters.
Oh my god, I'm so glad you brought that up. So, PRI 2024 would be a dream to go to with other podcasters. Like, I would love to go and have a booth with other podcasters at PRI. And it's not an original idea from me, per se, but it's an idea from DJ and Tom on their Lizard Brains podcast, where they had brought it up. And I think it would be so much fun to go. Granted, the podcasters that they went and said that they would like to do it with, of course, we did not get mentioned. They mentioned like Flip Angle, Track Walking, maybe 10 Tenths. I don't know if they did 10 Tenths podcast. But in any ways, it would be a lot of fun. I honestly, even if we don't get invited to the party, I just want to go to PRI 2024.
I want to go to PRI 2024 as well.
Let's do it. Yeah, a collaboration with other podcasters would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I definitely want to collaborate with Lizard Brains and also Eddie's podcast, The Backseat Driver.
Yes. Yeah, we should. By the way, we had to take your truck mudding. We have to go to Mudbog with your truck because at Eddie's and Devin's last podcast, Eddie said that he wants to go to a Mudbog, and I kind of told him that we would take your truck.
Did they agree?
Of course they did. We just need you to agree.
Okay, let's go.
Fuck yeah. We can go to the...
okay, now hold on. I got some...
Okay, you heard it here first, Eddie and Devin. There's nothing else to hold on to except your ass when you go through the mud with Fez's truck and he jumps like 3 feet through the air because he said, I think I could do it. And his intrusive thoughts won.
Listen. I don't care about taking the truck mud bogging. I really don't care about that. Well, as long as we get it washed properly.
You just care about Toyota knowing that you did it.
Oh, I don't even care about that.
Okay, never mind.
So, Ravi had a baby shower, right, at his father-in-law's ranch, and it was quite muddy, that event. And I took my truck through all the mud, and there was a bunch of mud on my truck. And after I came back home, you know, when you're sitting, the truck kind of the mud just kind of fell off of the truck onto the street.
As it does.
And I was just waiting for, you know, a rainstorm to come by and like clean it off and whatnot. But excuse me. but it didn't. And HOA finally got to me, and HOA was like, you have to clean up your own part of the street, right?"
Yeah.
And so I had to clean that up yesterday. I was like out there with a broom and just picking up the mud and throwing it in the trash, and then like wash the whole street down, only for it to rain this morning. Like literally, I went through all that trouble and it rained this morning.
What you did is you went through the soap and scrub procedure, and then the rinse procedure happened this morning.
I was so annoyed. No, I rinsed it. I like, I
got that's not rinse. Okay, the rain today was the soak free, not soak free.
It's a post rinse or whatever.
The spot free rinse is the last procedure.
Yeah, basically. So I was kind of annoyed about that. So I don't want to deal with that again. But I'm down to go.
Yeah, we would definitely take care of cleaning up your truck prior to getting it home.
Eddie and Devin fly out to Texas. We'll go mud bugging.
Let's do it. Actually, I told Eddie we would just drive the truck through the pond at Gingerman. So Midwest,
what?
We're gonna do it. Yep, we're gonna do it there.
No, that
you can just drive around the edge.
You know when Zach jokes about Toyota just airdropping me a new truck? That's not real, right?
You have not needed a new truck yet, so we will.
Oh, so you're saying if I just call Toyota up right now, if I get in an accident, they'll just airdrop me a new truck?
No, you send them the link to the Grid Life stream of your truck floating in the middle of the pond, and then you say like, "Hey,
we would get kicked out so fucking fast for that." And that pond is so nasty.
Yeah, I believe it. I've only been there the one time in 2021, and I didn't go near the pond. I just saw the cars parked over there for the car show.
The water just stands still. It doesn't go. It doesn't come in. It doesn't leave. Like, it's just there for years now.
I keep saying Midwest. I need to verify if Eddie and Devin are even going to go to Midwest.
They're going to Midwest.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Sweet. Oh, yeah. That's an update to share. So, what events did you get into for Gold Pass? That happened since the last time we recorded.
Oh, that's a good point. I got into all of them.
Same. I don't know how it happened. I think we're pros at picking up tickets. Not because of Taylor Swift, but because of college. Like college, signing up for classes, you had to be there spamming F5 on like 2 different computers that your hands were on to go and sign up for the classes and put your name down. It was the same thing.
I had a meeting at 11 o'clock, right? I'm with a senior manager. I moved that meeting. I was like, I don't care. I don't want to talk to you right now. I need to get this thing done. And then I blocked my calendar off from 10:45 to 11:15. And I was like ready to go, refreshing at 10:59 till it hit 11. And yeah, I got all of them. Like I already knew which ones I wanted to go to, which was a Rev Up, Midwest Fest, Mid Ohio, Road America, and Lime Rock. And I got all of them.
Nice. I am doing all of those except for Lime Rock.
Dude, I think Peter, I'm going to give shout out to Peter here. He was pretty upset about this. Where he didn't get into anything really. I think he got into some events, but he had a meeting over that time. So he joined like at 11:30. He started trying to see what was available, and everything was sold out.
But I had heard that at 1 o'clock was like the second chance. So 1 p.m.
He got a second chance, but he still didn't get everything.
Oh my god, that's unfortunate. So I don't know how Grid Life is going to fix it, and they apparently have tried selling the Gold Pass separately from the events in previous years. Mm-hmm. But in my head, that sounds like it'd be better. Like have this. What I mean is like in the situation where like if you want to go and spend $200 up front to gain the Gold Pass perks, you could do that. And then if you do acquire the Gold Pass perks, then that would give you some kind of like, well, I was going to say a guaranteed into the events that you want, but that also doesn't really make sense because say you had 50 Gold Pass spots for Midwest. Okay. You could only theoretically then sell 50 Gold Passes because if you sold any more, then you no longer can guarantee that every Gold Pass person gets into Midwest. But you still may want to sell Gold Passes for the other events throughout the season. So, I don't know. It's a tough situation, and I don't envy... What do you mean?
I don't know.
It doesn't matter. All I was going to say is that, like, I do not envy the Grid Life staff for, like, this dilemma that they have with selling Gold Pass.
Dude, the craziest thing is that this is not cheap. I dropped
No, it's not.
$3,700 on tickets.
I did
right?
2,600.
Yeah, so it's not
Yeah,
cheap.
that might be before tax. It was
That's
like
probably before taxes and fees. You probably spent close to 3,000.
it was pretty close.
Yeah, so like we're spending upwards of $3,000 on these tickets, and everyone's just going crazy after them. Like nobody cares about financial stability at that point. Everyone's just ready to charge their cards. Like that's insane to me.
It is.
Like what is recession?
Plan. They do have a payment plan for $35.
Yeah, but it's still $1,200 a month for 3 months.
Yeah,
that's rent for a lot of people.
Yeah. What I will say, what is really annoying, and I agree for a lot of people is incredibly annoying, is that it seems like a lot of people have gone and purchased a Gold Pass to guarantee their spot into a very specific event, Midwest, for example, and now they're trying to sell off the other events. Like, oh, I'm going to go and sell, I got into Midwest, Thunderhill, and Pit Race, but I need to sell Thunderhill and Pit Race. I'm like, bro, like, no one's going to trade, and they're trying to trade with other people, or, they're trying to sell Thunderhill, which is far too early in the season. Like, there's going to be open tickets probably the week of, realistically, because of how far the event is from the Midwest core. We'll see how attractive Grid Life is to the actual California group. Hopefully they are. But in any case, it is just incredibly bothersome how people are buying gold passes and hoarding the passes, or vice versa, where they and it sucks. And I understand, like in the moment, you probably freaked out and like wanted to guarantee your spot, but like it really does suck that some people went and bought 2 gold passes to go and guarantee their spot. So it was like you bought 6 races to go, and you're only intending to go to 3, so now you have to go and sell, or you're not trading, you're definitely selling. And so I know in some of the messages that the Grid Life stat have stated that for next Gold Pass season, they are tracking who is selling their races, because there's going to be some kind of a cap, like a sell cap, where it prevents these kind of scalpers from like acquiring numerous races and locking out other people, just so the scalpers can get into the events that they want, the 1 or 2 events that they truly desire.
Yeah,
because it really.
I mean, to be fair, I did get Lime Rock as like a backup event.
What do you mean backup?
So I don't know if I'm gonna go to Lime Rock yet.
Yeah, but you true, but also you did it because you're not necessarily concerned about. You didn't pick up Lime Rock in an effort to go and guarantee 2 other races. You picked up Lime Rock to potentially guarantee another opportunity to confirm season points, right?
It was more just the distance. Like for me, I did the same thing with Laguna last year, right? I always say that I don't know if I'm going to do these events, or no, actually, I did the same thing with Mid Ohio last year, where I was like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I want to go, but like I don't know.
But you ended up doing it.
But I ended up doing it anyways. So that's kind of how I am. Like I was like, I'm going to do it. If I buy it, I'm most likely going to do it. So it's like a motivation for me to do it.
Oh, I thought it was more of a motivation, or more of a opportunity to guarantee points. Where if like by the end of Road America, if you're not sitting where you want to be in season points, then you would go to Lime Rock to try to get more points, or try to better your position, because they only take the top 4 finishes of the season.
Yeah, so for that, if I'm really worried about season points, I would rather go to Laguna.
I would say,
less competition at Laguna than Lime Rock.
I think there's going to be even less at Thunderhill.
Yeah, but Thunderhill isn't counting for 2024.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's only counting.
This podcast is rated R, by the way.
Don't make sure your kids aren't listening. No, Thunderhill is only for 2025. It'll count for 2025 points.
That's very confusing.
Yeah, it counts for 2024 points for the West Coast Championship.
But it counts for 2025 season points.
For the National Championship.
That is so confusing. Why?
I don't know.
I'm trying to like find these rules. Anyway, don't worry about it. Okay, so never mind. Don't do Thunderhill this year.
I would do Laguna. because Laguna is like a fun track and is a good event. And then I think the only competition that I really have at Laguna is Peter.
True. He would definitely want to go back.
And he was pretty close to my record.
Oh yeah. Did he guarantee? Well, never mind.
I would go to Laguna if you were down to split the drive with me. Otherwise, I'm not going.
I probably not. I'll just.
Then I'm not going.
Yeah. Sorry, you got to kind of guarantee your race wins in the first 5 races that you attend.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. So that was the most recent Grid Life update. Is the fact that Gold Pass got released and Fez and I were able to guarantee our spots into the main 4 races we want to go to: Rev Up Midwest, Mid Ohio, and Road America.
Yeah.
How I get there, driving the car up and flying back and forth. Fez will basically do the same thing but tow it.
And to end the podcast, just want to recap on sponsorship aspects of things.
Yeah.
Be nice. Let them know what you can do for them before you ask them what they can do for you.
Yeah.
And just be a genuine person. Build connections, network with people, come to these events like Grid Life, go to events like PRI, network, and that is what, don't be an awkward person, and that's what's going to get you sponsorships and partners.
That last part is not true. You are a very awkward person, Fez.
Thank you.
I was very curious to see how you would react to that. But I get what you're saying. Like,
I didn't know how to react to that.
See, that's why you're awkward. I'm kidding. We're all awkward in our own ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you just said there. And the main thing is, like, be human. And also, don't go to these companies looking at them like it's not your money, it's company money. These companies are the livelihood of people. So they are human beings, and you really need to speak to them and treat them like actual human beings and realize that it's a give and a take. You're taking from them, so you have to give something back in order for them to be invested in sponsoring you. Did I say that all? Any did I say that
Yes,
all?
sir.
Cool.
Right.
Cool. Okay. Well,
Good
hey,
podcast.
That was a pretty solid podcast. Gonna get to editing. I'm gonna try to push this one out tonight.
Alrighty. Well, see you guys in the next one.
Yep. See you at the next one. Hit us up on the DMs if you want us to answer any questions. Yeah. Anyways, talk to y'all later. Talk to you later, Fez.
All right. Later, guys. Bye.
Bye.